Yeah.
Hi guys, it's Happy Conscious Gal here. I just thought I'd do a very quick vlog. As you can see, I've just woken up, pajamas, messy hair, the whole thing. But I just wanted to say this before I forget it all because it's really exciting. I just did my whole morning weighing and measuring, and the last 3 days has been a massive difference from what's been happening for the previous 10 days. As I told you in my last vlog, my weight was doing weird things for about 10 days, going up and down and up and down, and really in that whole time it only went down about a pound, just over a pound. So basically a very long stall, and I really didn't know why it was jumping around so much because my weight never normally does that on HCG. You know, a lot of people wrote to me, this happens at the end of the round, it's normal. Yes, that may be true, but I just had a feeling that there was something else going on because, you know, I've done a lot of work on a lot of the underlying emotional stuff for me, and I know that the more of that we clear, the easier the weight comes off. So I just had a feeling there was something going on because I know that I've still got a few pounds left because I haven't hit the hunger and I can see still some rolls of fat and stuff. So I thought, why isn't it coming off? It normally does. And it's been a bit stressful here the last couple of weeks. My partner coming home, we've been having lots of long talks about our relationship and working on stuff that we wanted to improve, and some of that's been very emotional. And I was wondering, is it just stress that's causing me not to be able to let go of this fat? And I just had a feeling that there was something else going on, that wasn't enough just to cause that. Because, yeah, it's been a bit stressful, but I've been managing it. I've had a little bit of back pain that can cause some stress as well, so I wondered if that was it, but I've now realised what it was, and I've now shifted it, and the weight is falling off. So what I realised was that my partner and I were talking about this issue, why my body wasn't letting go of the last few pounds, and wondering should I just finish and do another round later in the year, or maybe my body needs a rest. And he's a master dowser, so I asked him, which is a form of divination, and I asked him to just dowse, is there actually something in the way? Is there an emotional block? Because I had a feeling that there was. And he does that, and he told me that there was, and it was quite a big one. And so I went away and thought about it, felt into it, and I suddenly realised what it was. And I'm going to talk about it because I bet it's a really common one that people have towards the end of their final round. I realised that I was starting to get worried about people's reactions to how I look because I'm leaving in a couple of weeks to go up north with my partner for a few months to try it out up there and see if we want to live there. And so I'm having a lot of goodbye lunches, goodbye dinners. I'm actually organising a big picnic for all my friends next weekend in about 7 or 8 days' time. And I think there was part of me starting to get a little bit anxious, or not anxious, but just a little bit worried about how are people going to react when they all see me at this picnic, and how are they going to react when they see me in these dinners and lunches and stuff, especially because I'm not eating because I'm on P2. Are they going to think I'm starving myself, And one girl came up to me recently at this dancing event, and she took my hands in hers and she said, "Darling, are you ill? Is there something going on that you're not telling us?" I was like, I'm not ill, I'm the healthiest I've ever been. But most people think that if you lose weight really fast, you're probably ill, which is probably true most of the time. And they haven't heard of HCG because no one in Australia has heard of it. So, I was just starting to get a lot of that. My family saying, "Oh, don't get any thinner, yeah, blah, blah, blah." And friends saying that. And what my partner helped me see, because he's a genius, is what I tell other people and what I was not seeing for myself, which is that it's all an inside job. All judgment is self-judgment. And so I was obviously carrying in my energy field when I met them a little bit of doubt about what it would look like to people, and maybe thinking that if I saw someone suddenly really thin, I might worry about them and get alarmed that they were unwell, or try and intervene. And because I was carrying that in my energy field, that's how people were responding to me. Whereas if I just walked in, no charge around it, don't really care about it, totally confident about what I'm doing, know that I wouldn't judge anyone if they were in that position, don't expect anyone to judge me if they're in that position, I wouldn't be getting this reaction from people, because people only respond to what's in your own energy field. It's always an inside job. That's what I've learned in my life. So I thought about it, and I realised that's what was going on. I was worried that I was going to upset my friends, upset my family when they saw me at these going away things, that they'd be worried, and then I'd feel bad, and I'd have to then defend myself and explain it, and I just couldn't be bothered with any of it. And deep down I was thinking, you know what? I'm just going to hang on to these last few pounds, and I'm going to lose it once I'm up north, when I don't know anyone up there and no one will care because they don't know me and they never saw me when I was overweight, so they won't even notice 5 pounds gone from me. And I just, part of me was feeling it will just be much safer to let the last bit go up there. I'll just do it later. I'll do it next month. And as soon as I realised it, it shifted. Sometimes for me, when I see my emotional blocks, I have to go through a process of clearing them using various techniques that I have. Sometimes it's just enough to see what the block is, and then it just melts away. And in this case, it was enough just to see it. I saw it. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I didn't even see that before. That's what I was doing. I was thinking that. As soon as I saw it, I saw how stupid it was. I realised that I'm a very health conscious person. I totally trust myself. I know what I'm doing is good for me. My friends and family all trust me. If I walk into a situation totally confident that I'm making the best choices and I feel really healthy, they'll pick up on that and they won't care if I look thin or not, because they'll be able to tell from my energy that I'm confident. They'll feel that there's no charge in my energy field. So I really looked at, why would I judge someone else if they suddenly got thin? And why am I worried other people will judge me if I'm suddenly thin? And why do I even care what they think? And I'm just confident because I know I feel great at the moment. As soon as I had that shift, everything's changed in the last 3 days. In fact, quite extremely. My weight has changed, and I'll tell you about that in a minute, but more noticeably, people's reactions to me have changed. So on Monday night, my sister came round. She was the main one who's been saying, don't get too thin, don't get too thin. She didn't say one thing. She didn't even notice it. She didn't mention it. And I'm thinner than when I last saw her. She didn't say anything. I was like, oh, wow, interesting. Then the next night, I had some girlfriends come around for one of those goodbye gatherings, just 3 of us hanging out together. One of those girls is about my height, same build, and in the last 2 years has put on a lot of weight. And I previously would have assumed she would have felt a bit threatened that I've suddenly gone from looking like her to much thinner since she last saw me. And she's seen me a couple of times in the interim, but I just had a feeling she might have her buttons pushed, feel a bit threatened by that or triggered, and I was curious to see what would happen. But because I'd had this big shift and I was so neutral around it and I feel confident in how I look and I'm not worrying anymore what people think, she didn't say anything. She was just happy for me. Totally, genuinely happy for me. She kept saying, gosh, you look so healthy, you look so vibrant, so happy for you. And at one point I even said to her, hey, I've got some old clothes. I don't know if I'm going to have time to take them in. Do you want to have some of them? Because she's the exact same height, same colouring, same colour palette. She's had her colours done. She's the same colour palette as me. She said, oh, I'd love them. She didn't go all, oh, I'm overweight, I should do the diet too. She didn't take any of it personally. She just was totally neutral. She said, oh, that'd be great. Thanks, I'd love the clothes. Great that you're getting some new ones. It was just nothing there in her energy field. She was just neutral. It was amazing. And then yesterday morning I went out for brunch with a friend who's another girl who's about my height and a little bit overweight. Not hugely, but a little bit. And she's also someone who might have had a bit of a reaction to me suddenly being thinner, and she hasn't seen me in the past year. She's never seen me during this weight loss journey. So she hardly even blinked. She just said, oh, you look amazing. What's going on? Great. How are things going in your relationship? How was Hawaii? And that was it. Nothing. And I realised that's 3 people in a row who had no reaction, who in the past would have, and the only thing that's changed is me and how I'm holding it. My personal self-judgment has shifted. And this may sound out there for some of you, but we create our own reality. All judgment is self-judgment. If we're getting reactions from people, it's because there's something in us that they're picking up on, some self-doubt or some self-judgment. And I really believe that, and I see it over and over again in my life, and some of the stuff that I'm writing in the HCG books is about this, because I think most people don't look to this level at their emotional blocks and their beliefs, and they think there's something wrong with their body if they go into a stall, the diet doesn't work. It's never about the diet. It's always, almost always, very usually some sort of belief, psychological block or emotional block that's stopping us from letting the diet work properly, as it does when we're totally neutral. So that was all amazing, and so the reflection of all of that on the scales has been quite dramatic. My weight had gone up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down for 10 days, and not much actual real down. And then after I had that shift, basically my weight went down from 135.4. The next day it was 134.7. So that's down 0.7. The next day it was 134.3. That's down 0.4. Today it went down to 133.4, which is 0.9. So I've gone down 2 pounds in 3 days. And it took me 10 days to go down 1 pound before, when I had this block emotionally that didn't want to let me lose the weight. So I really feel now it's just going to peel off the last few pounds. If it stops again, then I'll have to look at what is going on again in my head and in my emotions that's getting in the way. But I just wanted to share that with you because I don't think people talk about this stuff that much in vlogs, and I reckon it's crucial. So I just wanted to share it with you because I think it's a really powerful example of how much our beliefs and our emotions can interfere and create what happens in our reality and on the scales. So anyway, that's me signing off in my pajamas. That was a quick one. I'll let you know what happens in the next few days. Bye!